Born in the days when the century was young and our country just out of war, we arrived on the scene as the 20s roared by, children of the rich and of the poor. We came of age as the bottom dropped out and depression was stalking the land. But we found that with courage we could make it through as we danced to the sounds of the big bands. Yes, in the 20s and the 30s we were there. In diapers and in bread lines, we were everywhere. Many of us left for the Second World War, and those of us who didn't go prayed. We watched as the world came close to the end, and then saw victory's price paid. We came back to have children of our own, and struggled just to make ends meet. But the times were simple, and the way was clear, and we found that life could be sweet. Yes, in the 40s and the 50s we were there. As soldiers and as parents, we were everywhere. We raised our teens through those rebellious years and watched them choose their own ways. Our nest became empty and we were alone, but we knew that our memories would stay. Our middle years came and we saw our careers winding down quickly and end. But we also could see a brand new start as we turned our backs to the wind. Yes, in the 60s and the 70s, we were there. As our children now had children, we were everywhere. But one more decision was yet to be made. Where would we spend?
Los Angeles, New Mexico. There's Albuquerque and Santa Fe. Ruidoso is right here, and Carlsbad is down here.
Well, Gloria, we better show them where New Mexico is in relationship to Texas. A lot of people don't know where New Mexico is or that it's a state. They need to know they don't need a visa to cross the border.
The best kept secret in the country, right? Okay, here's El Paso, which is just about 200 miles away. Lubbock and Midland are even closer.
I like to think of Roswell as a hub of a big wheel of activity in this part of the country. Well, let's drive out and really give you a good look. Roswell is located in a valley, the beautiful Pecos Valley. You see, New Mexico is known as the land of enchantment. That's because we have so many different kinds of landscapes. Now you kind of expect the plains and even the snow-topped mountains, but a beautiful green valley like this one is kind of a surprise. It almost reminds you of the Midwest. This valley has been famous for its agriculture for years. Artesian wells were discovered in early pioneer days, and water has been abundant ever since. But water's not the only thing that's come out of the ground around here. The oil and gas industries have struck pay dirt all over this area.
Roswell has about 50,000 people, which is just right. It still has a small town atmosphere, but with a big city convenience.
You know, back in the 30s, Will Rogers called Roswell the prettiest little town in the West.
It really is an attractive little city.
And small enough where you can pay all of your bills within just a few blocks. And go to the post office while you're at it. You can get just about any place in town in about 10 minutes.
A lot of these downtown buildings have years of history behind them. That's one of the reasons Roswell is participating in a special Main Street program, which will help keep these buildings alive and keep downtown a vital part of the city. You see, Roswell has quite a heritage from the days of the cattle drive and early pioneers until now.
Ever since we've been here, we've seen the city working to continue that heritage by constantly improving. For instance, there's a Keep Roswell Beautiful program that gets involved in projects, like designing a sunken garden in one of the town's parks. This is really a city with a lot of pride. Back in 1979, Roswell was chosen as one of the 10 All-America cities.
That honor wasn't based just on the looks of the town. It was based on the fact that Roswell showed a whole lot of heart several years ago, and it still does.
Gloria, let's take them down to the Industrial Air Center and show them the whole story. But before we go, look over there. I told you, we're everywhere.
This used to be Walker Air Force Base, an important part of our country's defense and an important part of Roswell's economy, until they closed it down in 1967.
We've had people tell us some pretty sad stories about how Roswell was affected by that loss. Things must...
And the years have seen plenty of industries come along. Not smokestack industries either, but clean manufacturing industries. The biggest one to come is right here, Transportation Manufacturing Corporation, or TMC. It has about 2,000 employees and hires more all the time. Another important industry came out here at first and then built a plant closer to town. Levi Strauss & Company.
But there's more than just industry out here. The runways that used to serve the Air Force are ideal for a regional airport, and that's what we've got, with 12 flights a day. Then Eastern New Mexico University put a branch college here called ENMU Roswell. It has developed into quite a school with some beautiful facilities built just in the last few years.
This is a great opportunity for anyone wanting to take continuing education courses. It's a small, friendly campus with students of all ages. In fact, people in their retirement years can participate in a special elder hostel every summer. Oh, wait a minute, there's Alice. Remember, we're everywhere. Let's go back to town. There's a lot more to see, even some places you might expect us to be.
You're probably interested in the weather around here. Well, you can't ask for much better. The summers are comfortably warm with very low humidity and cool nights. The winters are short and mild. Now we have a few snows, but the snows seem to disappear within a few hours. In fact, all 4 seasons can be seen around here, and I like that. And then there's the air. If you're from the big city, like we were, you'll appreciate being able to breathe freely, believe me.
Look, over there is the Joy Center. It's run by the county and has some fine programs for senior citizens.
This is just sort of the tip of the iceberg when you look at the dining room in the Joy Center, because the activities go on all day. We have foster grandparents that help with our young people. We have senior companions for those who just need companionship in their home. Van service to take people to the hospital or to shopping. We have Meals on Wheels, 83 meals that we deliver daily to those people who simply can't get out of their homes. You know, if you're moving to Roswell for the first time and you need some assistance with anything, all you have to do is call the Joy Center. They'll direct you to the proper place to get whatever it is that you need to make your life more fulfilling.
Now we'd like to show you one of our favorite places. This is the Roswell Adult Center, and it's run by the city, and we spend an awful lot of time here.
Let's go in and look around. Maybe we'll get a chance to visit with a few folks.
I'm the director of the Roswell Adult Center, and we have a very unique operation here. We have over 60 classes each semester. We have 50 organizations that meet here on a regular basis, both in the evenings and during the daytime.
There's so many activities, and then there are the classes that we have. Every fall and every spring there are different classes, and when people talk about being bored, you know, coming down here, you can't come down to this center and say that.
I like the center especially because here we can do about whatever you want. A pool playing and square dancing, and there's a lot of other things, woodworking and ceramics and things like that other people like to come here for, and there's always a dandy bunch in the pool hall.
I've learned oil painting, watercolor, whatever is available I usually try to take.
It is a disease that there's absolutely no cure for, because once you start quilting, you're hooked.
Well, my son was transferred here, and I came down to visit him, and I liked it real well, especially the climate. They have 2 dandy golf courses that I've played on, and almost year-round you can play golf here, like in maybe 4 or 5 days.
Well, the climate, for one thing, and the people are friendly here. I'm just amazed at the friendliness. You can meet young and old on the street, and they all are just real friendly, and I think that's one of the nice things here.
A retiree's voice can be heard locally in all endeavors of government. We should be able to be heard since there's so many of us, and a lot of us go vote.
I think it's the nicest place in New Mexico. For retired, we've looked at other places after we moved here, but we like it best here.
And we have people coming here from all over the United States to settle in Roswell, take part in our activities, and become part of this community. We have a wonderful community, and we invite you to come and join us.
I don't know about you, but I'm ready to eat. We've got plenty of choices, but there's a great place just a few blocks away.
Okay.
Well, here we are. This is one of the better restaurants in town. And you can see we're not the only ones that made this choice. Hi, you guys.
Like I said, we're everywhere.
Yes, we made the right choice. Excuse me while I decide what I want.
Actually, it's hard to make the wrong choice in Roswell. But we do like to be able to choose. And in Roswell, you have the choices. You can choose a church from any of the major denominations, including a synagogue. When people come for a visit, there are many excellent motels to choose from. And of course, there are choices for shopping. The downtown area that we saw before has some very good shops. And there is a modern shopping mall at the north end of town with a good selection of stores. Several mini shopping centers are found throughout the town. You can even choose medical facilities. There are 2 major hospitals and 84 physicians, many of them specialists. There's also a rehabilitation center and several very modern nursing homes.
Of course, the best thing to do is to stay healthy. And there are plenty of choices for recreation around here. 3 golf courses, 1 at a nice affordable country club, several bowling alleys, and more tennis courts than you can count. Swimming pools and places to work out. The new Spring River Trail, 23 beautiful parks, and 1 with a zoo. Bottomless Lake State Park is just a few miles to the east. So is Bitter Lakes National Wildlife Refuge. Now that's a birdwatcher's paradise.
Now Roswell has lots of special activities throughout the year. The Eastern New Mexico State Fair is a highlight of the fall. There's even a parade, the biggest in New Mexico. We have a spectacular air show every year, and it's quite an event and draws almost everyone in the area. There's even a balloon festival to top it off. And if you want to travel just a short distance, this area offers many other possibilities. The world-famous Carlsbad Caverns are just a couple of hours away, and on the way to Carlsbad is the brand new Brantley Dam, which offers water sports of all kinds.
The mountains just a little over an hour away to the west are full of special places. Ruidoso is a great place for a short getaway. The shops, restaurants, and hotels are great. Ruidoso Downs even has a famous racetrack. Of course, there's skiing both near Ruidoso and near Cloudcroft, another nice little mountain village. And you can't beat the mountains for hunting and fishing.
Now don't forget Capitan, home of Smokey the Bear, and Lincoln, the site of one of the most famous battles of the Old West, the Lincoln County War, and the stomping grounds of Billy the Kid. Lincoln is a historic preservation district and is great for history buffs.
And if you want to go a little farther, the White Sands National Monument is a site you won't want to miss. And then you have the northern part of the state, Albuquerque, a growing metropolitan area with every kind of service. It's just a little over 3 hours drive from here.
And of course there's Santa Fe, a charming city with a style all of its own. It's the state capital and a wonderful place to visit. There are many museums and even a professional opera.
But you don't have to leave Roswell to find culture. No, the culture is here. From a beautiful library with lots of programs to several museums and an art center with exhibits by internationally known artists such as Peter Hurd, Henriette Wyeth, and Georgia O'Keeffe. Some retirees serve in their docent program.
There's a little theater and even a local symphony. Two local television stations provide news coverage. There's a cable service with 18 channels and 4 pay channels, 11 radio stations with any kind of music you want, and a first-class daily newspaper.
That was a real good meal. The choices abound in Roswell, but before we forget it, the New Mexico Military Institute is just up the street. It's one of the finest military schools in the country, right here in Roswell. And there are a lot of retired military who have settled here. In fact, Roswell has always welcomed the influence of the military.
There's the RSVP van, Russell. The Chamber of Commerce has a program here where retirees can provide volunteer services to the community. That's a great opportunity to serve, and that van provides transportation for many people.
That's right. Now we know you're interested in what kind of housing is available here in Roswell, so let's go see some of our friends and we'll show you.
Retirement time was coming up, and a friend of ours told us that we ought to come out here and look at Roswell, New Mexico. So we flew out of Washington, D.C. of a Monday morning. We got out here at Monday night. We looked at Roswell on Tuesday and Wednesday and the surrounding area. We bought this house on Thursday and flew back to Washington on Friday. And we saw this house. We saw the price on it and found that it was about 1/3 what we would have to have paid for the same number of square feet in the Washington, D.C. area where we would have had planned to retire. And the taxes here were about 1/6 what I was paying in Alexandria.
When I retired in Texas after 30 years teaching, I came out to Crown Point, New Mexico and taught 3 years. And from there I came to Roswell. And I'd heard that Roswell was a good place to retire, had many advantages. Living conditions here in Roswell are actually cheaper than in most parts of Texas. Groceries and the things that everyday living, you just can't beat Roswell prices on an overall basis.
Oh, the park is just ideal. We just don't bother to lock the doors. We just walk out. If he's out of town, I'm here alone. I don't mind going out for an evening activity and coming in because I feel like my house is safe.
I was in the U.S. Army, and we were stationed overseas, and I got orders to come to Roswell, New Mexico. Then
we fell in love with Roswell and decided to retire and stay on here.
We came here in 1975, and we bought a house at that time, and then we built this house in 1981.
And we were welcomed so warmly by the community and just felt so at home and really made it our home now.
Well, the people here are really very, very friendly, I think. And I must say that the weather here in Roswell is such that we can ride our bicycles practically year-round.
Living here in Roswell has many advantages. The weather, boy, it's hard to beat. As you can see, here we are Thanksgiving, and we hardly know that it is winter time.
And one of the things I wanted to say about Roswell was that no matter what your interests are, you're bound to find an organization or a club that has activities that will appeal to you.
You're not a stranger in town when you get here. All you have to do is put your hand out and all of a sudden you have friends.
It's a wonderful town, and this is our place, this is our home.
Russell, for those who may not be wanting a large home to take care of, but who would like to live in luxury, we need to show them Villa del Rey.
Villa del Rey is a retirement center. It's more like a luxurious hotel, and when you walk in the front door, you'll see and know exactly what I'm talking about. We have 3 delicious meals daily here, maid service. We also have a full-time activity director. We have studios, 1 bedrooms, 2 bedrooms, and alcoves. It is one package plan. The 3 meals are included in your rent. And this, by the way, is rent by the month. If anyone would like to come and try us for 2, 3, 4 months and see if they like living here in Roswell, we would be glad to rent you an apartment.
Well, another thing I could say, it's unbelievable for what they do for you. At first I was reluctant on coming here, so far away from home, 2,000 miles. But here I am, and it's wonderful, and I love every bit of it.
My daughter came out from San Francisco to check up, see what her dad had gotten into. And when she left here, she said, "Dad, I can't think of anything that you haven't got."
Villa del Rey is a very lovely, beautiful place with caring people in management and the people who live here, the residents. We have wonderful food. I like to cook too, so that I kind of miss a little bit, but I can still make cookies and things like that in my stove, in my little kitchen.
Well, we like Roswell as it's the all-American city in more ways than one.
We take in the Roswell Symphony and the Little Theater and different things that go on at Pearson Auditorium, at NMMI. So it offers a variety.
As you can see, there's been a lot of interesting people move to Roswell and retire here. Also some very prominent ones. Dr. Robert Goddard, Robert O. Anderson, Peter Hurd. There's a lot of other things that I'd like to show you, but I'm going to have to go in the house and find them. So just sit back and relax and let some other folks tell you about Roswell.
Where Roswell is an outstanding place to retire. That's why so many people have come down here to retire. And the cost of living is so much lower than it is in most retirement communities in the southwestern part of the United States. They all ought to consider. All ought to give it a go and come down here and take a look. If they came here, looked at it, played a couple rounds of golf, they would retire in Roswell.
Roswell has an easy lifestyle, as the numerous retirees who've come here have discovered. It's a clean, modern, friendly city, and we think you'll like it. Why not come give us a look?
Well, now that you've heard what we had to say about Roswell, let us show you what some national magazines have to say. Money Magazine chose Roswell as one of the peaceable places for retirement. Author Hugh Bayless called it one of the 50 best towns in America. Rand McNally featured Roswell in its 107 places to retire. Sunbelt Retirement rated Roswell excellent, and it was listed in the 1988 Consumer Guide's best rated retirement cities and towns. Anyway, it's where we chose for our retirement years, and it's an important choice. Why don't you come visit us? You won't be disappointed. Come to Roswell and see for yourself. We're everywhere.
No, we're not the only ones to find our answer here. For in Roswell, New Mexico, we are everywhere.